Welcome to this quick video. It's going to be a pretty quick video. I say that, I don't know for sure. Um, I haven't really scripted out this video, and right now we're in my um, pool area where I live. That's the pool area. And so I decided, I had extra time today, so why not make a video? And so I had to really think about what did I want to make a video about? And I guess we're going to talk a little bit about my progress in entrepreneurship, okay? Because I talked about this in the last video, my progress weekly update video, that I have decided when I'm moving to Charlotte in North Carolina, that's where I'm moving, and by the end of the first week of October, that's where I'm moving, and so I had to make a major decision in my life, which was to either choose to start a business and go down the successful business owner or path, or get a easy job, making 60K as an accountant after I get my college degree in a couple of months, and then either work up the corporate ladder or use the extra money I have, $60,000, to develop myself in other ways. And work would really be, a thing I did to have money. I really wouldn't care about my work that much. And, I would use the $60,000 to, you know, get more education, get a better YouTube channel, and develop myself and all that. And then I would make money from other things. Okay. But however, I've decided to start a business because I really have a couple months before I need an actual income because I've saved up enough money. And so I've decided to take the opportunity to start a business and go down that path in life. And so this video is going to be talking about basically my progress towards that goal. And so I got two books. One was on business strategy, how to plan 5 moves ahead, and then the other one is about how to grow your small business. And I've been reading those, and I've also been watching some business videos. And so the first thing I have to do is I have to set up the business, okay? If I'm going to start a business, I got to set it up. And from what I've learned, I have to pick a structure for my business. And I'm still going on and I'm still learning more about this. Like, don't expect me to know everything about business. This is a learning process. And so you might want to start your own business. And I've only been researching this stuff for like a week, 2 weeks, since I've finally started to switch over. And since I've decided to start a business, I have to do a lot of research, but also have to take steps towards that, path. And that's what this video is about, is going over the stuff I've done so far. And a lot of it has been research stuff because I really didn't know how to start a business, or like what are the things I should know before starting a business. I didn't know any of that because I always thought I'd go, start, working for a corporation, and then maybe 10 years from now I'd start a business. But I've decided to speed up my timeline and start the business now. And so decided on for my corporate structure to be an LLC, limited liability corporation. It's easier to set up. It has less oversight than an S corp or a C corp. I think those are the terms for it. And so it's like, but for LLCs, it's harder to get investors, angel money, but also it's hard to give out equity to your employees. And eventually, I want to be able to give equity out to my employees, as a stock compensation plan or something like that. But unfortunately, that's really far in the future. That's like a year, 2 years away. And so I didn't want to have the overhead costs that cost me like $500, $1,000 a year for the S corp or the C corp. And I have to have more administration. I have to put in more reports. So I've decided to do the LLC now. The tax benefits aren't as good as a C corp or an S corp. And so now you can file an LLC apparently as an S corp or a C corp. I forgot which one it was. I'm all new to this, so sorry. If I get these terms mixed up for a little bit, but this is going to be a quick interview and kind of showing my progress so far. And so I have to do the next thing, which is like, how much is it going to cost me to start up this business? And one of the things I've learned from these business books is I want to keep my overhead as low as possible, partly because I haven't had any sales yet and I don't want to bloat the business too much when I don't need a IT person because I don't have a ton of employees, or I don't need to hire employees before I have any sales, and they just sit around and do nothing. And so I want to lower that overhead cost, and I have to do that. And I also don't have a big budget for me because I am moving, and that'll take up a lot of money, but not a lot because I've minimized the cost of moving. But also I'm not going to have an income for the first couple months until my business starts making money, or I have said this that I might do some Uber Eats like 4 hours a day delivering food or whatever, just to have a little bit of income, but max that's 4 hours a day, and then, it's at different times or whatever. I don't want a real job because I won't have any flexibility, and I don't want a job to take up more than 4 hours a day, you know, and so I have to lower my overhead as much as possible because I'm a newbie starting business owner. I don't have, $1 million in the bank, or I can't take out a loan from a bank or whatever. Or maybe I can, but it's really hard. And I really don't want to have to do that unless I have to. So I've set a goal for myself for a budget of $1,000 or less. Now I have $7,000 in the bank account, but I have my credit cards, and I will put all of that. Sorry, my pen fell out. I will put that all on my credit cards, and I'll pay that back over slowly. So I don't lose a lot of liquidity that I need to pay for like rent or stuff. So you see, and I'll probably make a video about this when I'm closer to moving, but I will put all the money on my credit cards. And because I have like I'm gonna have basically $20,000 of money I can use from credit cards. $1,000 isn't gonna dent my credit score so much or whatever, because I have about a 740, I think, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. So I'm trying to keep it under $1,000, and I've decided to start a accounting business, a bookkeeping business, mainly bookkeeping in the beginning, and because I do that because I'm taking college classes for accounting. And also, so I know a little bit about accounting, but also I think it'll be the easiest business for me to set up. I think there's demand for it, and so why not go into it? And there are problems with that business structure, and I will talk about that business industry that I'm going into starting, So I have to keep the budget under 1,000. And I've already started getting some, office supplies, but I haven't gotten a lot because I'm moving out of with my car. And my car doesn't have a lot of space. If I have to put all my clothes, my guitar that I don't really play anymore, I gotta start that when I move. But also like the rest of my stuff, my skincare stuff, all that has to be moved with me, and that takes up a lot of space. And so I really am not getting a lot of supplies. Sorry if this lighting and everything goes up and down. I'm outside, so sun gets blocked sometimes. Um, and so $1,000 should be enough. That covers business registration, the LLC, everything that's set up, articles of incorporation that you have to have. Um, which will probably be like 100, $200, or I can get one for free. We will see some general office supplies. I've already gotten some paper and some paper clips and everything. A printer, that's going to be a big one. I'm probably going to spend 100, $200. Online advertising for the first month. I'm including that in the startup cost for the first month. Online advertising will, ads or whatever will probably be 100, $200. Business cards slash promotional materials, probably be as 100, $200. And I have the subscription that I have to get. I got to get a QuickBooks accounting subscription because I've decided that's going to be the software I use for bookkeeping. And so that's about probably like, you know, up to $100 a month. I think I said 30 per month if I get the free part, or the lower version of it. Cloud services, I'll probably pay like $10 a month. I won't get really high in the cost because I don't need it yet. Practice management which is basically like a management software that most accounting bookkeeping services have, firms have. That's what they're called, accounting firms. And so those are some, for that practice management, there is a Carbon software for that, which is like $60 a month. I might have to get a DocuSign from like Adobe, and I gotta set up my bank account, which will cost some. And I also need to have a separate smartphone, to just be focused on business. I don't want to have everything on my personal phone. And I'm gonna get a cheap one that's like $200, or $100, $200 for an Android phone. And so that will allow me to have separate personal and business phones. But in the $50, I probably will get like 10 gigabytes for my business phone, because I really don't need a lot of data on that phone or whatever. So that'll be like probably $25 a month, because I'm not getting unlimited, spending or whatever. And so that's the thing I've really focused on for. And, I now have, next couple steps. What do I have to do for the next steps? Well, the next steps is learn QuickBooks online. It shouldn't be that hard. There's a certification for them that you can take or whatever, that I think is free when you have an account or whatever. And I want to get past that. One, I can say it as like, a qualification, but also number two, to really learn QuickBooks. And then the three is figure out my marketing plan, figure out my plan to get customers in the door. I guess you would call that leads. Okay. How do I get people knowing about my business? And then I have sales, um, which is how do I convert leads, And those are like probably the most important things. Is, I can have the best product or whatever, service, product, whichever one. Accounting is a service-based industry, so let's call it service. However, if I don't have anyone who's buying it, what's the point? And so I think for the beginning parts of business, that's the most important things, are how do you get leads and how do you close some of those leads? Like the 10%, 20% of your leads, how do you close them? Because ultimately that's how many, usually you close like 10%, maybe 5%, maybe a little bit higher if you're really good in the industry with sales and you have really good salespeople. And so I have that, and I also still have to kind of figure out my product. I've decided to do basic bookkeeping for my clients, and I've focused on small businesses, at least in the beginning, small and mid size, because larger companies have their own accounting department, you know, because they have to, for like security concerns and more control and everything. And so I have to figure out my product. And I've looked some of this up, and average monthly retainer fee for someone to do your bookkeeping for small businesses is like 300 to 500 a month. Okay? And I'm still writing this down. This is kind of like a video to help me clarify my thoughts. And I bought this cool notepad. I don't want to get off topic, but this is an unscripted video. I got this cool notepad from Barnes and Nobles, or I think it's Books a Million. I think it was Books a Million when I bought those business books. And so I can basically, I have to have a product for, let's get back to the topic. So I've done some math, and my goal for the first, to the end of the year, by the end of the year, my goal is 10 clients per month. What does that mean? That means I will have $3,000 a month coming in. And software probably will take out 1,000. No, I wouldn't say 1,000. Maybe let's say 20%. So expenses will come out to 20% of that. Which, if you divide 3,000 by 5, that's 600 a month. However, I know starting a business is hard in the beginning, and I don't want to, flake on advertising or, promotional stuff. So I'm not really worried about expenses as long as they're not really, you know, really overhead. Like as long as they're not taking up, you know, it's not like I'm not spending $6,000 on, you know, overhead, all of my expenses, okay? As long as it's not extreme, I'm okay if I don't really make a profit until next year. Because ultimately, a lot of businesses don't make profit in the beginning, when they're starting out. And I'm in this for the long term. And that's why I said if, I'm not profitable for a couple months, I might get the Uber job doing 4 hours a day of work, delivering food to pay my bills, you know, and so I don't completely run out of money or whatever. But we shall see it. That's probably going to be later on. We'll see how my business is going. However, that's my goal. It's really the main goal is 10 clients a year. $300, 300 to $500. If I can get that, I'm happy. And so we that is my next steps is I figured out a lot about product, but I don't know how I'm gonna advertise it as it is. I don't know what to get my first 10 clients. So I have to think about that. How do I get my first 10 clients? Because I don't have a network for anyone. Like I was watching an Alex Hormozy video, which is like a big businessman, and his second business relied on the gym owners who had bought his gym lots, and so had his other businesses. Like his supplement business, he went to business owners who already bought gym launch and said, "Hey, do you want to put supplements or have a thing where you sell supplements in your gym and then we deliver those supplements to the person who bought it, we ship it to their house or whatever." And so, but he used those prior connections and made himself as a niche out where all these gyms sold supplements for him, sold his supplement brand or whatever. And so I don't have any of that. So I have to get my first 10 clients. So I might offer those for free for a referral or, a review of my services. And I'll try the best for those 10 clients or whatever. And, that will allow me to get experience and get a little bit of a reputation in the field. And what I might do is I'll say, I'll do the first 3 months free of your bookkeeping. And then later on, you have to start paying. And if you don't like the experience, you don't have to. Or maybe it'll be 1 month. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. A longer period would be better, but then like I'm losing money, you know, and that would be hard. And it's not like it can offer like free services for like one client at the time, and then the next one I don't. I have to. If I'm getting two clients at the same time, I can't be like, okay, I'll let you for free use my service, but this person has to pay. And if they find out, they're going to be like, what? But if I get those 10 clients or whatever, and then start charging for the next couple, that's a difference from, that's different from having two clients at the same time come in and want to start working with me and I charge one and the other one I let free. I pay, I let it, I give them 3 months free. And so I can't do that. So it might be for the first 3 months. And the longer I give them free stuff for, the more they'll be grateful for it. And I could charge a higher price, or, I could, um, I'll get better reviews for my service. But the problem with that is like I'll be running out of money. I'll be on my expenses will still be the same, but I don't have any profit. And so I'm making a loss of like $1,000. Now my tax return will be good probably because I'm making it, I have expense of like, let's say let's say I didn't, for the first year, I did everything for free. How much would that cost me in expenses? Like, let's say it's 10K, you know, that's a lot of money for me to not have any income, plus my rent I'm paying. So I'll be paying rent, plus the stuff I want to do and networking, all that stuff. So I can probably only do it max like 3 months in advance, for free. Then you give me a referral and you keep, if you like the service, you can keep doing it. So those are like my main goals is, it's been 20 minutes. So, sorry, I looked at the recording. Let me get back. So, the main thing is learning QuickBooks like in and out. learning more about bookkeeping for a business because I've had college classes for it, but never really how to do it for a business or whatever in the real world, not working for a corporation or whatever. I have to figure out my marketing plan. And that marketing plan, I say marketing and sales are different, but really I have to figure out marketing and sales. And so what I really have to do is find the first 10 clients. If I give them for free or whatever, and all of them say, let's say 9 of them stay or whatever, and I get another client, that'll be by December. I'll have my 10 clients, and 9 of them are paying me, and the 10th one is still on the free 3 months. However, it's long. Maybe I decide I'm not doing that anymore because I have reviews, I have some credibility, so I start charging, right from the beginning, or maybe I upgrade to $400 a month. We shall see, and I have to make a decision on do I increase my price? Do I get rid of the free 3 months? And so if I have 10 clients, okay, that's $3,000 a month, okay, by the beginning of next year. By January 1st, if I have 10 paying clients, that $3,000, I plan to keep $1,000 of it. $1,000 a month for rent and for basic expenses because I have to have that. Otherwise, by that time, by January 1st, I might have run out of all of my money and everything. So I have to spend that. I don't want to take it out of the business. So maybe I'll take out more debt because I have like $20,000 in with credit cards and everything. And so I could get a second credit card, not a second, but like another credit card in January, and that'll give me 12 months of 0% interest, and it'll be like $5,000. And maybe I can use that to cover rent for another, 4 or 5 months because that 1,000, my rent will probably be about $1,000, 1,200 a month. Max plus utilities, probably up to 1,500. And so I have to be making at least some money. So that's why I said maybe if I do the Uber Eats for 4 hours a day, I'm making what, like $60 an hour or $60 a day, let's say, times seven, 300, let's say after taxes. I'm making plus gas, plus all that, 300, 250 a month. Times four, I'm making about $1,000 a month. That could pay for my rent. And then all of my food and everything will go on my credit card expenses. And probably by March or July or June, I got to look when I got my credit cards, those 0% interest rates will start to go away. And so I will have to start paying them by the beginning of January. So no matter what, I'm going to have to take out $1,000 a month, just out of the business, which is why I need to have 10,000. Now, if I don't have any clients by then, because business is hard, I might not have any clients by then. I won't do that. Or maybe I'm only making $1,000 per month. I won't do that. I'll still do the Uber or whatever, no, or whatever. However, if I reach my goal of 10 clients per month, I'm going to be taking out $1,000 from the business. That leaves me left with $2,000 per month for expansion. For expansion, let me say. And at that point, I have to decide what am I going to do with my growth. And the book, How to Think 5 Steps Ahead, you have to plan as a business for growth. You might not have growth for years and then your growth slowly expands. So you have to build systems. So if, I could get 10 clients by January and then next year by February comes and I get 30 clients in a month. And then it's like, well, how do I fulfill all these clients? And then I have to find a contractor and I have to do all this stuff. And maybe something messes up. Maybe the contractor I hire isn't good at bookkeeping. So I have to go behind him and fix it all. But, some customers are dissatisfied because the bookkeeping is taking longer than the deadline or whatever. And so I have to plan out those things. I have to think 5 steps ahead. And I don't want to think of too far in ahead. But $2,000, and the good thing is about that is that's my goal is $2,000 per month going back into the business. What does that mean? Well, it means for the business, I will have some sweat equity, you would call it. All of my hard work would be $2,000 per month going back into the business. And the good part about that is if you know anything about accounting, there's this accounting equation, which is assets equal liabilities minus the stockholder's equity. And that $2,000 per month, let's say, and we're not counting expenses. I just realized that. It would be less. It'd be if we're not counting expenses. Let's say I'm making 200,000 after after expenses I'm making 3,000. This is a hypothetical. That's the math. Let's say I don't think I'm going to make any more than that. If I make like let's say I blow it out of the park and I get 50 clients in the next 3 months. Like I don't think that's happening. But that's a wishful thing, but I'm not going to plan for it. If it does happen, hooray or whatever. I'll work my ass off. But we're trying to be optimistic, but not too much, too optimistic at least for me. You know. And so let's say after I have 2,000 per month that I keep in the business. Well, that becomes profit really, because basically I take the $1,000 as either a salary or I take it as a dividend from the business. So $2,000 a month. I might save that up. I have to decide on that. Well, because I have to plan out my next move in advance, 3 months in advance. Um, what will I do with that money? Do I save it up and then have it for necessary expenses? Well, I might save up for 2 months or whatever and save up. Let's say I save up $6,000, and that will be for any necessary expenses. So if something happens or someone sues me or something like that, I don't go under because I don't have enough money, or I don't have to take out a bank loan of $20,000 to pay for that, whatever it is, for like emergencies. After those 3 months, I might, by then, that 3 months is over. If I keep up with the same pace, let's say I have 20 clients now. If I have 20 clients, that is a lot of clients for one bookkeeper, especially if it's more complicated businesses or bigger businesses. Of course, I will charge more for the bigger businesses. However, if I have 20 clients by then, that means I'm making $6,000 a month. Let's say I'm saving up $4,000 of that is profit. After I pay myself plus all my expenses, $4,000. At that point, I will start hiring either a bookkeeper or a secretary, whatever they call it, virtual assistant, someone to help me, EA executive assistant, help me do like the common errands or whatever, pick up phone calls, emails, and all that. Or I might get a bookkeeper. It depends. If my client list I have, I'm getting clients left and right, I might hire a bookkeeper first because then I can have 40 clients instead of 20. And I've been doing some research with ChatGPT, which isn't, I wouldn't want to use it for more in-depth stuff, but I've been asking it, okay, how do I break even? Like, what do I do to break even on an employee or whatever? And depending on how much I pay them, if I pay them 60K, I'm going to have, 20, 30 clients for me to make a profit on them per that employee that I hire. The employees I hire who I pay 60K. If I pay, 30K for an average bookkeeper or whatever, because bookkeepers get paid less than if you're an accountant with an actual degree or whatever for jobs. And so it's like, um, do I get a average bookkeeper that's making 30, 40K a year, and then I only need like 15 clients or whatever. We'll see. This is all up in the air. But those are my name. I'm starting to sweat. Those are like my main goals is learning bookkeeping, QuickBooks for product delivery so I can deliver what I say I'm going to be doing. And then leads and sales. Okay. But yeah, that's my goal is by the end of the month, by the end of the year, 10 clients paying $300 on average. Okay. And now my expenses might be more or less, I don't know, because a lot of my costs are beginning level business costs. So they're not, and I might go on a foreclosure website for a business and buy some business equipment. But that's the end of the video. So this is goodbye.